We have to fully implement the most significant gun safety law in nearly 30 years and then pass again the assault weapons ban, which Diane and I passed. No excuse. Who in God's name needs a weapon with 100 rounds in a chamber? The weapon's only meant for one thing, to kill people. We did it before. We can do it again. As long as I'm in office, I'm not going to stop till we get it done again.
Biden, what are you talking about? This is an AR-15. This is a magazine. The magazine holds the bullets. There is a chamber inside there. I can only have one bullet inside the chamber. So there isn't a gun that exists that has 100 rounds in the chamber. Now, I know I'm making a mountain out of a molehill with respect to what he said, but that's the problem I have with politicians when they talk about the Second Amendment and gun control. They don't know what they're talking about. So how am I supposed to take advice about laws with respect to the Second Amendment on a topic that he knows nothing about? Something as simple as understanding that only one bullet can fit inside of a chamber is something you should know if you're going to be making policies that dictate my ability to own a certain firearm or own a certain aspect of the firearm that is incredibly important to how that firearm operates. When it comes to the idea of having 100 rounds, he's not even talking about just banning 100 rounds in a magazine, because that's really what he's talking about. What he's talking about, he actually wants to ban magazines that have 30 rounds or above 10 rounds.
My legislation says there can be no more than 8 bullets in a round.
So we're not just talking about 100 rounds, but the question he's not asking is, why does anybody who's protecting you, your Secret Service agents, police officers, federal agents, why do they need magazines that have more than 10 rounds? He doesn't ask that question, but I'm answering it for you. The reason why is because you don't know how many rounds you need in order to protect yourself, or to protect someone else, or to protect this country. So I find it ironic that the person who is the head of the government for which the Second Amendment was written to tell them what they can't do with respect to our Second Amendment is now trying to tell us that we don't need a particular item that's incredibly important to the operation of the very thing that the Second Amendment is protecting so that the people can utilize to protect themselves and this country from tyranny.
Who in God's name needs a weapon with 100 rounds in a chamber?
If I'm in a situation and someone's attacking me, attacking my family, attacking people that I love, and I have to call the police, what are the police gonna do? Are the police gonna show up with 10-round magazines? No, they're gonna show up with as much ammunition as possible because they don't know how much they're gonna need to protect you. So if they understand that simple concept, why is it so out of reach? Why is it so crazy for us civilians to be able to have something that allows us to protect ourselves as effectively as possible?
Who in God's name needs a weapon with 100 rounds in a chamber?
I don't know how many rounds I'm gonna need to protect myself. That much I can tell you. I don't even know if I'll ever need a gun to protect myself. But when the day comes, I want as many rounds as possible because nobody in a gunfight has ever said, I wish I had less rounds. Even if it only took 3 rounds, even if it only took 10 rounds, they would never go into that situation saying, I wish I had less rounds. And because the gun and the Second Amendment is based on the ability of the people to protect themselves and this country, not hunting, not sport shooting, but protection. We want as many rounds as possible because that's the most important factor. For instance, let's say we limit it to 50 rounds. Then what happens when somebody does something with 50 rounds that's bad? You're gonna limit it to 20 rounds, then 10 rounds, then 5 rounds. Then now we don't have the ability to own anything because no one needs, I don't know why anybody needs more than 3 rounds in their gun. It's arbitrary, it makes no sense. There's no studies demonstrating that all you'll ever need is 10 rounds in your gun to defend yourself. There are none because you don't know. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still trying to figure out why Biden is speaking at a humanitarian institute or wherever the hell he's conducting his speech and not advocating for people's ability to protect themselves. I can't think of anything more humanitarian than empowering people to be able to protect themselves. I need to be able to protect myself, and I need the tools and I need the means in which to do that effectively. That's what this is about, is effective self-defense. Not barely self-defense, but effective self-defense. They all know this. They understand that the Constitution, or the Second Amendment more specifically, was written to tell them what they can't do. But what they have to do is make it seem like it's so outrageous and preposterous for anybody to have this many rounds in their gun that they can convince you to give up that right. And now what does that do? That gives them more control over you. As far as I'm concerned, I need more than 100 rounds in my gun to protect myself because I don't know how many rounds I'll ever need, and that goes for everybody else in this country.
And yes, AR-15s are protected by the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It didn't say only handguns, it said arms. Guns aren't political. That's why I need your help getting this message to spread on YouTube by clicking the thumbs up button, leaving a comment to let me know what you think of the video, then subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, click that bell symbol. For products featured in this video, click the links in the description.